Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me is Adam Mittleberg, President and Chief Marketing Officer of Datasys, to discuss how marketing has evolved and which trends have been accelerated as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. Adam, it's great to meet with you. Welcome to Trade Talks.
Thank you very much for having me. Great to see you.
And Adam, how has the COVID pandemic accelerated or changed marketing efforts in the U.S.?
The pandemic has absolutely shifted the way that businesses are operating. Organizations historically have had kind of seasonal or cyclical changes that they're accustomed to, but what's taken place over this last year is absolutely unprecedented. And I don't think anybody could say that they were prepared for what we have and are going through as it relates to running business during these times. And it was kind of an interesting thing that we've seen, because we've had this tremendous shift that took place about a year ago now. With companies, you had this kind of pause that took place about a year ago now, late Q1, early Q2. And with consumers, when it was kind of a shelter in place situation, you saw a big behavioral change that also shifted with that. One good example of that is if you look at connected television, right, CTV, you saw total usage in about a 5-week period was roughly 5x the volume of what it was in its previous quarter. So you saw this giant shift in consumer behavior, and along with consumer behavior shifts require companies to really adjust and rethink their marketing efforts. And a good example of this would really be the CPG space. The CPG space historically has seen about 2 to 3% of their annual revenue come from online sales. During the time of COVID and over this past year, they actually had a peak mid-year last year where 15% of their sales were taking place online, and their forecasts and projections showing roughly 7 and 9% of their online sales continuing through 2022 to take place online. So that entire industry has seen kind of a shift and an evolution in how people are purchasing their products and services. And along with those shifts, they need to adjust accordingly. So there's been a tremendous amount of change that's taken place.
And Adam, with companies having less in terms of fixed costs when it comes to real estate, with corporate travel down by 95%, it's giving them the ability to shift their resources to areas like marketing. So what are companies doing to maximize their marketing spend in the post-COVID environment?
Yeah. The biggest shift is going from traditional channels and really shifting that to an online strategy, right? It's again, going back to that kind of pause that companies took in late Q1 and into Q2 of last year. And it was during that time that you had two different options. You either were going to give up and allow your company to fall, or you were going to really rethink how you were going to go to market, right? How are you going to meet your customers where they are? Who are your real customers, beyond just anecdotally? And then how do you communicate with them and across which channels, right? Is there a social communication? Is there something you're doing through digitals, or something you're doing through video? Is there something you're doing through email? Kind of what is that cadence and what is that journey of that conversation? And how does it resonate with those different consumer groups that you're going after so you can grow and scale your business?
What role can online marketing play in a company's campaign? How can brands use the different platforms that are available to make them better?
Well, I mean, there's a lot that they can do, right? Companies first really need to truly understand who are their customers, right? Who are those individuals that are buying their products and services? And then how do they identify those audiences and consumer groups that are going to help them expand their business and grow their market share? And the way that you're going to do this is you got to work with the right types of organizations to get a better understanding of your own customer data, really enriching that audience, the understanding of who your audience is, and being able to identify the right channels in which to reach those consumer groups. And whether that's working with companies like Datasys, where we have both self-serve and managed services that we provide our clients that help them not only understand who their customers are, but to help them both identify prospects and reach their customers and prospects across a wide array of channels. But ultimately looking at your social media channels, your digital channels, your online and offline channels, and really coming up with the most effective cadence that's going to allow you to communicate in an ongoing, compassionate way that's going to allow you to keep those customers for a very long time and truly maximize the LTV of those individuals.
All right, Adam, appreciate the insight. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks, and thanks for joining me. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.